Okay, so we are live. Okay, so I'm just going to wait here. Hello, LP doll. I'm going to do can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. My hair is sticking up. Hi, LP doll. Okay, so we already have 11 people on. Okay, so I'm doing an Instagram and a YouTube live. Hello. Okay, so I'm going to wait just a few minutes to get everybody on here as I see people jumping on. Ah. Hi, Glam Mums. Hi. She's all the way from Australia. Okay, so we're going to get started as I start to see people here. So, hi, VDBO Delardo. Okay, so I'm going to talk about today is it's pending still. It is a new sunscreen ingredient that not a lot of people are talking about because it's still, like I said, it's still pending. And it's called Methylene Blue. Okay, so if you guys see me looking up and looking down, it's because I'm looking at my computer screen and then I'm looking at my phone. I'm trying to do this at the same time. Okay, so it's called Methylene Blue, and it's actually originally it is used as a medication as well as for dye, obviously like a blue dye. And studies show so far, okay, is that it actually helps absorb UVA and UVB rays, so broad spectrum, okay, but it helps boost DNA repair, and it also fights ROS, which is a reactive oxygen species induced by UVA. Okay, so that basically is a free radical, and it is related to long-term inflammation, cancer, lifestyle type related diseases. And so when it's in regards to the skin, it actually ages the skin. Okay, and that's induced by UVA. So this is really hard to try to look at you guys and try to look down at you guys. So, and the bonus of this is as far as the testing is it is no harm to coral reefs. Okay, now this is a chemical sunscreen. So just so you know, it's not a physical sunscreen, it is a chemical sunscreen. Okay. They are still testing it, the scientists of M Blue Labs and the scientists from University of Maryland. It is a possible alternative ingredient to oxybenzone, which is 80% which is in 80% of the chemical sunscreens. Okay, so because some countries and states have already banned oxybenzone because of how it destroys coral reefs. Now, when they did this test, they actually did it on a specific coral, and it was called Cinia umbellatus or something like that. And it basically, within 1 week, when they did the oxybenzone, it started to bleach the coral and then it killed the coral. But this one, Methylene Blue, it actually did very little harm, even with when they exposed high amounts of this to the coral. So that's really good news. So this is still they actually applied for a patent application. They're working to formulate different sunscreen prototypes with the Methylene Blue. So that's actually really good news. Okay, now here's the other thing. They tested it with vitamin A, so retinol, and they also tested it with vitamin C. to see what would happen. And what they found was, and they actually did the test, so they actually did not apply it directly to human skin, okay? But they actually did it, they took cells from both older and younger donors and they tested it on the fibroblasts. Okay, so fibroblasts is what stimulates the collagen and elastin in our skin. So they tested it in the fibroblasts and also and the keratinocytes, so the skin cells. And they saw that when they mixed the methylene blue with the vitamin A, and then they did a separate one where they did it with the vitamin C together on the skin cells of the older donors, okay, so older skin cells, they actually saw that it reduced cellular oxidative stress, which is what causes the aging. So that is really good news. Okay, so that's one of the things that I am. Oh, thanks, Glam Mom. She gave me feedback because I was like, I don't know if I can. If you can, you guys hear me? I don't know if you guys are hearing me. So let me know in the comments if you can hear that. Okay. Okay. So first, let's talk a little bit about sunscreen since we're on that. So if there's any questions for sunscreen, we can. Oh, good. Okay. Talk about that. Okay, so let's see. Here on YouTube, I have dry and sensitive skin. Which sunscreen I should use? I'm from India. Okay, so here's where it gets a little bit complicated if you're from a different country, because I'm not familiar with the specific products in India, but I can tell you what you can look for. So here's the thing about dry and sensitive skin. So if you really truly have sensitive skin, so sensitive skin is very reactive and they tend to be more reactive to chemical sunscreens, not always, but a lot of the time. So sensitive skin typically works better with zinc oxide because zinc oxide, number one, is not absorbed into the skin. It sits on top of the skin, and naturally zinc oxide is already an anti-inflammatory. So you'll see this ingredient in a lot of diaper rash ointments. So I would look for that. However, zinc oxide is very absorbent as well. So if you have dry skin, you want to look for a sunscreen moisturizer, okay? Because then they'll add like glycerin and they'll actually add emollients to it. So and actually has to say in the label, moisturizer with sunscreen or sunscreen moisturizer. So that's what you're going to look for, okay? What to study? Okay. First, okay, let me go back to, okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, let me see if there's any questions on here. Okay, so there's no questions on the Instagram one in regards to sunscreen. There's other questions that I have here on YouTube, and I'll address them just in a little bit, okay? Okay, so for example, we'll talk about the different types of sunscreen, okay? So here's another thing with sunscreen. So Skinceuticals gave me 3 different types of sunscreens to use, okay? And you'll see it's kind of, so the first one here, it's a brand new one. You'll see it's kind of, you see it, it's all like white. So this is a physical. This one's a titanium dioxide 6% and zinc oxide 5%. It's 100 and it's fluid, okay? It has this like little shaker in here like you would find in nail polish, okay? And it's really watery. Watch, like it spills everywhere. So it's super light. See how like, it's like really thin. And when you put it on, see, it's really white. You see that? See that reflective? So that's how mineral sunscreens work. It stays on top of the skin, okay? And see, like it's really fluid. Do you see that? Okay. That's the first type. The second one that they have, a new one, is a Glam, she's everywhere. Okay, so this one here, it shakes again. It evens out skin tone. Okay, so if you guys like a tinted but kind of sheer sunscreen, so the person who was talking about that, if you want to even out your skin tone, but you don't like the thicker mineral-based tinted sunscreen that kind of goes on heavy and you don't like that, then this is a actually really good one. Okay, let me see if I can do this both. Okay, so here, see how that's really fluid? See that? So it's really, really like light and sheer. So if you don't like those thick ones, this is a good one to use. However, if you are looking for coverage, then you're going to want to go with the thicker one. Okay? No Hanan, welcome. Hello. I don't even know what that flag is. I'm so sorry. You're going to have to tell me what that flag is. Okay. Now, everyone is talking about, where did the other one go? Oh, it's in my bathroom. Okay, the other one is the Daily Brightening UV Defense Sunscreen. This is, okay, here's a good one. Here's a chemical sunscreen. So for those of you who hate mineral sunscreens, this is a chemical one, okay? Now the chemical one, it does have, let me read the label. Avobenzone 3%, homosalate 5%, octosalate 5%, and octocrylene 7.2%. Now, octocrylene has shown, it's not conclusive, but it has shown that it can damage some coral reefs. So I'm a little bit disappointed with that one. However, if you guys have ever used Sunday Riley's that vitamin C serum, the texture is very similar to that and even smells like it. So that is actually a pretty good sunscreen if you like that one. Okay, so this actually, I don't like a lot of chemical sunscreens. I have hyperpigmentation, so I don't use chemical sunscreens, but that one actually has a really, really nice texture. Now, do you see where it says Daily Brightening, okay, UV brightening? That is because this has tranexamic acid, which helps lighten the skin. However, because it has chemical sunscreens, if you have hyperpigmentation and you are using acids or hydroquinone or well, I mean, retin A and retinoids are acids, but if you're using that, you may want to be careful with this one. Start off a little bit slower on this one, and you hate physical sunscreen. So this is an alternative. However, I don't really, with my clients, I don't really like to combine chemical because you don't know what's going to happen. Okay. And especially if you are using red lights, microcurrents, things like that, you may want to go with the physical one, which is a really good, the physical ones are thinner. These tend to be a little bit thinner. And look, it's not greasy. Okay. So, and I'll put the links below. I think they are having a special starting today on sunscreens and other products. You can get a free, I think, and it's only $45 you have to spend. You get a free vitamin C FERULIC serum. However, I don't know what the size is. Okay, so that information will be below after. I'll put that in below. Okay, so let's go back to the comments here, or the, sorry, the chat. Okay, oh boy, there's a lot. Okay, so the first one is how to get rid of pigmentation. So with pigmentation, that first of all, let's clarify. So there's pigmentation such as age spots, solar lentigines, um, which are like little freckles, and then there is full-blown melasma. Okay, so age spots and freckles are typically easier to fade, and melasma is very, very tricky. The darker your skin is, the more complicated it is, because when dark skin gets inflammation, they they get pigmentation. When so you and a lot of the things that lighten pigmentation potentially, if you're using it incorrectly or you're using too much, then you can get too much um, you can get more pigmentation. So you have to be really, really careful. So um, Oxara media, if you have to be a little bit more specific as far as the what kind of pigmentation. Okay. Afreen Khan. Okay, I have a lot of pros that watch my video based on the comments and emails I get from my website. So if you are into skin care, Afreen, if you're in the US, you can actually go to school for that. If you are in a different country, I'm not sure. Obviously, you're going to have to go to school, but I'm not sure. But you actually do have to go to school for that. Okay. Um, Around nose, I have sensitive skin. I've never done any chemical exfoliation. Physical exfoliation harm my skin, so I don't do that often. So blackheads and whiteheads, if you have a combination of both, if you can use a exfoliant that contains glycolic acid in it and salicylic acid, both of those will help with that. You can use retinol or retin-A, but again, that's so strong you don't need that for just the blackheads and the whiteheads. Okay. Let me see. Is oxybenzone harmful for skin? Well, that depends, right? That's like a loaded question. It depends on what other products that you are using and if you're more prone to sensitivity. You have to remember with chemical sunscreens, the difference between physical sunscreen and chemical sunscreen is that chemical sunscreens have to be absorbed into the skin, and ultimately your liver breaks it down and then you excrete it, right? Whether you're excreting it through your urine or your sweat. Physical sunscreens sit on top of the skin, so it never enters the bloodstream. So overall, physical sunscreens are healthier. Okay. Um, uh, oh, thank you so much, Afreen. That's a nice comment. Live on sunscreen. Oh, Naomi, you are welcome. So, they are, I will say the Skinceuticals, the sunscreen, as far as just a sunscreen, like the texture and all of that feels really good. It's not sticky or tacky. Really, really nice because it does have silicone. But if you're looking for sunscreen that actually has beneficial ingredients, I don't think that was their goal. I think they're leaving that to the serums. So if you're looking for like a sunscreen moisturizer, these are not it. But if you're just looking for a sunscreen that is sheer, the texture is good, then those are actually really good. But as far as beneficial ingredients, and you can see for yourself, there's no really beneficial ingredients except for the one that I showed you, the brightening one, the TRANEXAMIC. But also you have to remember that's a chemical sunscreen, so it's trying to reduce the inflammation too. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sonia. Live on sunscreen. Tell us about chemical exfoliation for sensitive, dry skin. Bumps after shaving my face and blackheads and whiteheads. Okay, so if you really have, is it because, okay, so if you're shaving your face, okay, if you're shaving your face, do the exfoliation on the opposite time. So for example, if you shave in the morning, do the exfoliation in the evening the next day. Don't try not to do it on the same day, and use an exfoliant that you don't leave on, otherwise you start to get dark here. And use a lactic acid, because lactic acid of the AHAs it's more hydrating, and it's better matched for sensitive skin, if that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Can retinols replace Botox? Well, they do totally different things. So Botox basically freezes. I'm using the term loosely now, not literally freezes, but it basically prevents the muscle from moving. So see my forehead right here? If I go like this, right? Can you guys see this? Right? If when you raise your eyebrows and you have Botox, this like stays still, right? So you don't get the wrinkles right here. So that's what Botox does. Retinols work on not the muscles, but the skin. It actually stimulates collagen and elastin production. So they're two totally separate things. Oh, I can't. I have this on delay so that I could actually read it. And then let's see, on Instagram, there's nobody that has any questions, I don't think. Everyone's just, oh, Costa Rica. Oh, gosh. Okay. Wow. Okay. Florida. Hi, Sonia. Okay. I do want to study in Canada in future. I'm 22 years old. Where did you study? So I studied in Southern California, in Orange County, California. Okay. So any other questions about the sunscreens or anything else? Everyone is just like listening to my presentation here, and then those areas. Oh, Freen, I do want to qualify. If you have blackheads and whiteheads in the nose, lactic acid won't really help with that. So what I would do is use the salicylic acid slash glycolic acid combination, like a scrub or something around the nose area. But like this area right here, probably lactic acid would be better, because if you are shaving, that changes things. And if any of you guys are, I don't know how many, because it looks like mostly, oh, there's some men on here. Okay. If you guys are, I'm putting out shorts on the differences between, and if you're a pro, this is actually by request by one of my followers. I did start putting out little shorts on the differences between men and women's skin, because as a pro, you need to understand some of the basic fundamentals of the differences between men and women's skin so that you know how to treat it. Okay. I'll just give you one example, and then the rest you guys can watch the video, because if men's skin are typically thicker and they have more sebum on their skin, so when you're doing like a peel or an exfoliation service, you can leave it on a little bit longer. If they are calling you to make an appointment and you know that they are a man, ask them to, do they have a beard? First of all, you need to know that. The second one is, if they shave every day, ask them to shave the night before your service, because if they shave that morning and then they come in for a service, their skin is more likely to react to whatever you're putting on, because most guys use only drugstore type of stuff, and then their skin might react to your professional products. Okay, so hope that helps. Oh gosh, there's a bunch of them. Okay, how to reduce smile lines? Okay, well, it depends on where that smile line is, Rupak. Is it around your eyes, or is it like around your mouth area? And the reason why I ask is because obviously this area right here is more sensitive than your mouth area and what you can do, like, like right here. Okay. I'm from India. What SPF should I use? Should we apply moisturizer before sunscreen? Which sunscreen brand is best available in India? Okay, that question, as far as the best sunscreen in India, I'm not really sure, because I'm not familiar with the sunscreen products in India. Okay, so, we apply, that's actually a really good question. Should you apply moisturizer before sunscreen? Here's a couple options that you can do. I like to keep things very simple. So I like to get a sunscreen, if your skin is dry, a sunscreen moisturizer. So then you don't have to put moisturizer and then sunscreen on top. Okay. And if your skin is really dry, then I like to apply a hydrating mist, then a hydrating gel, and then the sunscreen on there. Because depending on the formulation of the sunscreen and the moisturizer, you can potentially dilute the sun protection factor in the sunscreen. Okay. So one thing I don't recommend doing, and I've seen some beauty vloggers talk about this, which is not correct, is that you take some moisturizer and then you mix it in with your sunscreen. Okay, when the people formulated that sunscreen, they did not formulate it that way. So you just diluted your sunscreen protection factor, if that makes any sense. Okay, so that's what I would do. I would find a sunscreen that had a moisturizer in it, just to make it simple, because they've actually formulated it with humectants without diluting the sun protection factor. Okay. Or you can put moisturizer on and then let it dry and then put the sunscreen on there, but then your skin may end up being dry. Okay. Especially if you're using a mineral sunscreen, because again, mineral sunscreen absorbs moisture and absorbs oil, which is why, again, if you look at diaper rash products, that's why they have the zinc oxide, because it's anti-inflammatory and it's absorbent. Oh gosh. Okay, hold on here. To apply. Right. Okay. So, Afreen, how many times to apply the chemical exfoliator? Okay. So first of all, with sensitive skin, you should not use a chemical exfoliator that you put on and leave on. So those toners, they're terrible for sensitive skin, and they're terrible for people who have hyperpigmentation. So do it 1 to 2 times a week, and on opposite sides of the week. Okay. Skinceuticals. So like this, and I'll put up the replay on here so you guys can see the difference. So this one is the SPF broad spectrum. This one's the physical one. This is the one that's, oh, sorry. There you go. This is the one that's really thin and goes on like really fluid, and it's not sticky or tacky at all, and it's a mineral. So for those of you who hate mineral that's like thick, this one is a very good option. No moisturizing. I'm looking at the ingredients. Yeah, see, so because like it's water, the second ingredient is dimethicone. So it feels good. It's got a lot of copolymers in it. And that's why it feels so good. Then this one's the brightening one. This is the chemical sunscreen, and it's more of a cream. But it's not hydrating. Okay. Okay. He's 15 years old. That's why I'm listening. Okay. So Carolyn, this is when your son is going to have surges of testosterone, obviously, because he's 15. So he's going to, and if he's not eating well, he's going to actually produce even more thicker, more sebum, and even thicker sebum. And if he's actually, not eating well, then that's, oh, I forgot to turn off my thing here. So, if he eats a lot of sugars and eats a lot of processed foods, then the pH of the sebum becomes more suitable for bacteria. Okay, that can cause the acne. Let's see. I've been seeing as for the blue light in the market. Most of them contain iron oxide pigments. Does it mean that foundation can do the same job? Somewhat. So you have to remember. So the FDA a while ago, when people started coming out with powders that had SPF, whatever, the FDA told them that you cannot market, this is years ago, you cannot market this as a sunscreen, because then people will use that instead of sunscreen, because in order to get the sun protection factor that's even equivalent to actual sunscreen products, you'd have to put so much powder to completely cover your skin, right? Because it's a physical sunscreen. So what I do personally is I put a sunscreen on. Okay, this is what I do. I put the sunscreen on, then I actually use a makeup that has sunscreen. It's the same SPF. And then on top of that, I put a mineral powder on. So basically, I'm trying to cover all the areas, because you're not going to get equal protection, completely equal coverage on your face, right? So you're just basically trying to layer it. So that's what I do. Let's see, blue light in the market. And okay, so there's another clinical test that actually showed, they tested 3 different sunscreens that marketed, I'm gonna have to find that link, that marketed for blue light, and it showed that it actually was not as effective as as it was marketed. So 2 out of the 3 that they tested. Around mouth wrinkles. Okay, so are they deep? So here's one of the things. So if you can see here, I have the marionette lines right here. And I'm using my microcurrent. So you can see how it's like, here's the wrinkle right here. Oh, sorry, guys. Here, right here. And then it's starting to disappear right here. Can you see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. And this is almost like gone. So I use the microcurrent, because what it's doing, you have a muscle right here that runs this way, and then muscles that run this way. The reason why we get the marionette lines like this is because we're using it all the time, talking, chewing, eating, right? Like opening your mouth. But there's a muscle that runs this way that helps kind of pull it up, right? So if you use the microcurrent and you help strengthen this muscle, so you can see it kind of disappearing right here, and then you can do it along the jawline, that helps pull it up. So that's what I use. Good. L'Oreal hyaluronic acid, good or not? If not, which is good? I have to look at the ingredients of the L'Oreal hyaluronic acid. A lot of the companies, because raw materials now are so scarce, they do say that they do have the right to reformulate and not give notice. So I'd have to look at the most updated formulation. And there's different formulations for different countries. So I'd have to look at that. Don't mix sunscreen, Christy. Yeah, don't mix the sunscreen. So if you're using an SPF 50 and then you use an and your makeup is an SPF 15, it doesn't become 65, right? It halves it. It makes it like 37-ish or something. So you want to try to find, oh, I got a heart for that. Okay, so you want to try to find an equal SPF with your makeup if you're using that. Okay? 22 years old, but I'm curious. When should we start using anti-aging products? I'm just 22. At 20, okay, so they have found by testing fibroblasts, you guys are making me try to go back and try to find these like studies that I've looked at for like years and years ago, is the average skin, which I don't know how they defined average, actually physiologically starts to age, okay, at 25, where desquamation rate starts to slowly slow down. But again, there's so many variances, because you can take a 25-year-old that has a lot of stress in their life, they don't eat right, They got a lot of sun exposure versus a 25-year-old that took care of their skin. Even though biologically they're the same age, physiologically they're not the same age. So I don't know how, I can't remember like the factors of that test. But if you're 22 years old, I would still eat right, because the younger you start with that, that's always going to help you more. Um, and then like actual anti-aging skincare, I probably wouldn't worry too much about it until 25. What I would invest in is a very good sunscreen, and maybe a hydrating serum. But that also depends on where you are. If you live in a very humid place, then you don't have to really worry about that. I would probably use, at 22 years old, you're still really, really young. So I probably would use like a good, and you're probably still, well, since you're already getting, you have blackheads, I would probably concentrate on exfoliating that. You can do some vitamin C, but since vitamin C breaks down so quickly and they tend to cost a lot, that would be like a personal decision. Okay. Which microcurrent do I recommend? Okay, so again, this, as my audience is so varied, it depends on where you are in the world and what's available to you. There are simpler ones where they have the machine and then the two like metal balls closer together. That's really for home use and it's a lot more convenient. But when you have, I personally like the MyoLift because they have the pro stuff. So and I've actually experienced using it. You can see it in my videos where I used it in different clients, all different types of clients, older, younger, people who had rosacea, people who had hyperpigmentation, and that worked the best. I personally like the one that's the pro because it has the two probes like this. You put one here, and I'll put the links for that, and then one here, right? So that you can stretch out the muscle. You're actually being able, when they're closer together and the currents run between the two balls, the closer they are together, I have found they're not quite as effective. That's just my personal. But if you are someone who's like, I just want something simple, you'll get some improvement, but it will be limited. Okay. Um, let's see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I have it on delay here, but uh oh, you're welcome. Uh oh, Tim, thanks so much for that compliment. I appreciate that. Um okay, if you're indoors, if you're by a window, yes. If you like a lot of bright sun in your room or good lighting, yes, I still would wear sunscreen. If you're not, no, you don't have to wear sunscreen. And I'm going to do a video on this later about how your sun responds if you eat certain types of food. If you watch my videos, you'll see I do go in the sun a little bit. I'm not one of these people who's afraid of the sun, and there's a reason why, and I'll talk about that in another video. I'm using Pilgrim Vitamin C. Is it good? Which products we should not use with it? Okay, so Afreen, that's what I'm saying. I'm not familiar with the Pilgrim Vitamin C serum. I'd have to go and look at the ingredients list on it. Water fusion, like sunscreen, good. I use it directly after cleansing my face. I don't use moisturizer. Oh, Monsi, you said you're a big fan, and I don't remember you commenting, so I'm not familiar, so it's nice to meet you. I don't know if this water fusion sunscreen is good. Can you give me a little bit more information on the ingredients list? I'm always looking at the ingredients list, and it gives me a better idea. Natalia, I think that's how you say it. You are so welcome. Thank you so much. I should use glycolic acid salicylic for blackhead and whiteheads, right? 2 times a week. Yes, and it will improve your texture. But remember, the main thing is I don't want you to use something that is a leave on. Okay? Vitamin C, is it true that if it goes yellowish after we open the bottle, it doesn't work anymore? All the serums I bought recently are always a bit yellow when I open them. Okay, a bit yellow. Okay, so vitamin C, if it starts to oxidize, yes, it's actually, the darker it gets, like if it's almost like a burnt orange, then yes, it has oxidized. Yes, and that's the thing with vitamin C. So vitamin C, at its full potency, has been shown to help fight the radicals. Um, it breaks down very quickly when exposed to air, light, and heat. And that is, and I'm not against vitamin C, okay? Um, but because it breaks down so quickly, I'm a better proponent, and I actually, with my personal clients, I have them start to use a product called astaxanthin, and you can see in my videos it's actually 6,000 times more potent than vitamin C, 75 times more potent than, I think, alpha lipoic acid or coenzyme Q10. It's a lot stronger than vitamin C, but here's the thing: it actually does not break down when it's exposed to UV light, so sunlight. It actually increases its potency. Um, and it actually increases its potency when it's exposed to UV light, blue light, red light, and white light. So I have them use that during the day, because a lot of treatments for hyperpigmentation, okay? So what happens is a lot of it you can't use during the night because it has AHAs. So it can potentially inflame the skin, which then can cause over time pigmentation. So I have them use the astaxanthin during the day and then the lightening products at night. Okay? Because 3 hours after the skin has been exposed to UV is when most of the damage begins, and the pigmentation actually starts to develop in the dark. That's what they found. All those links to those studies, that's in the best time to apply skincare in that video. Good moisturizer for dry skin. Okay, so the biggest thing that I have learned working with a lot of different people is that if um, most people are mixed up between dry skin and um, dehydrated skin. So one is water and the other one is oil, and they mix the two up. So what happens is sometimes clients they say they have really, really dry skin, and they're typically younger clients that have really dry skin. It's actually not oils. It's typically water that they need in their skin. And I don't mean by drinking lots of water. They have to actually use hydration, water-based gels on their skin, and then cover it up with like a lotion to prevent it from evaporating. So if you apply rich moisturizers on your skin, this is generally speaking, and your skin is still dry and it starts to crack, you're using the wrong type of moisturizer. So you're using more of a lipid-based moisturizer when you may need water. And for those of you who your skin actually needs water-based, you're using these balms, and that's not helping. Okay? That's how you know. So before I recommend a good moisturizer for dry skin, I would really want to assess if you actually have dry skin, or if you actually have dehydrated skin, because even if I recommend a good moisturizer and your skin is dehydrated, you're going to go, "Oh, this doesn't work." Right? So you have to assess first the condition of the skin. Please spell out the word. Okay. I have to write it out. ASTAXANTHIN. Astaxanthin. And you can look it up in my video channel. You can find it there. Let's see, 30 years old. Hi, Namita. Please suggest good skincare routine. So do's and don'ts, what I should do to have younger and healthier skin. Okay, so when somebody asks that, Namita, it's a good question, but it's coming from someone who's not familiar with skincare. So the thing that most people think of is that there are good skincare products, and if I just use the good skincare products, I will have good skin. And very generally speaking, that's true, but it's the right skincare for your skin, your particular skin. So when you see someone, including me, saying that this is a good skincare product, it may not be, and I always say, but it may not be suitable for, sensitive skin or people with hyperpigment, depending on what the product is. So the thing that one of the most important things that most people don't talk about is that's like very elementary, is a good cleanser for your skin, because you have to look at the cleanser as being um, um, like the foundation of your skincare. So if you have a good foundation, right, the house sits upon it. If you don't have good foundation, it doesn't matter what you put on top of it, it's going to fall down. So you have to find the right skincare, because then your pH is right, and then everything else, oh, I got hearts for that, is then you can, your serums, your lotions, everything will increase the efficacy, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I'm so glad I can inspire people. Yay, Glam Moms, thanks for joining. So if you guys want to look at Glam Moms, she does makeup tutorials, and she has like little hacks and things like that. So you may want to catch her channel on she's on Instagram, I think, more, right? So, okay. Product should I use? Can you tell me, please? Okay, so Afreen, like I was saying, I don't know what they sell in India. I'm not really sure. So what I would recommend is to try to find some products, and then you can send me a link to the ingredients and I can take a look at it for you. That's the best I can do, because I am not familiar with products in India. I'm sorry. Oh, you're welcome, Carolyn. Let's see. Yes. So that's one of the things that you guys, just one tip. When you guys look for advice on skincare online, when somebody goes online and says, this is the best skincare product, this is awesome. Okay. You have to assess that you may have different skin that the person that you're watching, or the blog post that you're reading, or whatever that you're reading, it may not pertain to you. Okay. So it may be great for their skin, but you don't know. So that's one of the things that you do have to be careful of. Okay. So that's one of the tips that I can give you as well. Okay. Any other questions that you guys have? Because it's almost running on an hour and I actually have a consultation. Okay. Yes. Afreen. Am I saying that name correctly? Let me know if I'm saying that name correctly, because if you jump on another chat, I would hate to keep mispronouncing a name. Okay. The other thing too is retinol and hyaluronic acid good for skin? Okay. So retinol can be good. It's not good for everyone. Retinol it tends to be less reactive to most skin types than retin A. Okay. Retinol is just a derivative, and your skin has to take one extra step to convert it, to make it into, versus retin A going straight on your skin. That depends on what type of skin that you have. If you have sensitive skin, and also there's a difference now between encapsulated retinol, which has a time release, so it releases the retinol slower into your skin, so you're less reactive to your skin versus just retinol. It depends on the formulation, it depends on your skin. So generally speaking, lots of people like retinol. I personally cannot use Retin-A or retinol. I get hives. I itch like crazy, so I cannot use it. I did try an encapsulated retinol, and the only thing that it did was the hives came slower, so I just can't use it for sure. Hyaluronic acid, so we actually, our bodies make hyaluronic acid, and as we age, we make less. So it acts as a lubricant in our joints. It surrounds our organs. It's in the discs in between our vertebrae, and it's also in our skin. So hyaluronic acid, in and of itself, we make it. And the hyaluronic acid can be sodium hyaluronate. It depends on the formulation because it's an ingredient, right? So depending on how it's formulated in serums, it could be added into moisturizers, it's even in conditioners. It just depends, again, okay? So if I have a nightly Retin-A regimen, do I still need exfoliation? Typically, no. But if you are using it, let's say you're using it for clogged pores and your skin's peeling, but the clogged pores are not becoming unclogged, that typically is because the Retin-A formulation in the cream in and of itself may have some oil clogging ingredients like petroleum, mineral, or it'll say mineral oil. It's basically the same thing, but mineral oil. So if that is the case, your skin's like peeling off, but you still have clogged pores. I personally would use something that has glycolic acid, which is better for that without your skin having to peel. Okay. If you're using nightly Retin-A, and I wouldn't do that in the summertime. I would use less of it in the summertime. I have dry combination skin. Okay, if you have dry combination skin, again, I'd have to see your skin, because typically when people say they have combination skin and then they say dry combination, it's usually because it's dehydration. Because they're able to produce oil, right? They're just overproducing typically in the forehead, nose, and chin area. And if they say that they're really dry here, it's usually dehydration. It's not oil. Afreen. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, good. Nice Person 58. I like that name. Does glycolic acid stimulate collagen production as good as tretinoin does? That depends. So yes, glycolic acid stimulates collagen production. However, it doesn't go as deep as tretinoin is able to. So that's why they have glycolic acid peels. And if you do that, then it basically, what it's doing is it's causing inflammation, and so it stimulates the collagen production, right? It's basically speeding up skin cell turnover rate to help heal your skin. So they basically do the same thing. However, glycolic acid, it penetrates the skin a lot faster, so it can burn the skin more. So that's why they have glycolic acid peels. Okay. As good as tretinoin. Where tretinoin you can apply every single day. Glycolic acid, everyone's skin is a little bit different, and some people respond better to glycolic acid than tretinoin, and some people are the opposite. So it really depends on the skin. Like for example, I use glycolic acid exfoliant that I rinse off because I can't use Retin-A or retinol. So someone like me, I'm forced to use more glycolic acid based things than tretinoin. What do you think about the ordinary AHA, BHA peel? Okay, so I did a video on that where I don't even know if she's on here. There was a beauty vlogger. She did not want to be identified. She's semi-big. So she was using that, and she was using all this other stuff, and she started to get like these brown patches right here on her cheek. And she was using that. When that came out, I said, oh my gosh, this is a potential for damage for people's skin, because once you release something like that into the public and the public does not know how to use this correctly, there is always potential for damage. So as a professional, using something like that on someone else that I understand their skin and how it's administered, it's fine. For the general public, no. I've seen it. I've had several clients where I said, okay, what are you they have hyperpigmentation. Okay, I'm using this, and they're using that. I'm like, okay, and then they tell me how they're using it and what other products they're using. I'm like, okay, that's why you are getting melasma at such a young age. You're using it incorrectly. So personally, that there's nothing wrong with the product. It's the user. So I would be very careful with something like that. I have dry combination skin. Namita, if you have sensitive skin, I probably would use a lactic acid or something that has lactic acid and a BHA like salicylic acid, and something that you can use as a scrub and then rinse off. None of these leave-on stuff. Collagen powder, a good brand. I take collagen powder. If you're talking about collagen powder to like ingest, then yes. However, clinical studies have shown that when you use it for, a regular periods of time, the first thing that happens is it reduces inflammation in the joints, which I did experience. So when you're taking collagen specifically for skin, you have to understand that your body, when you ingest it, it's not going straight to your skin first. Your body is going to use it where it needs it the most first, which is typically going to be like your joints, to help replenish the tissue in your organs. And then if you use it long enough, then you'll start to see some effects with your skin. But if you're saying, oh, I've got these deep wrinkles, if I just take these collagen powders, it's going to fill up my wrinkles, that's not how that works. Okay, so I just wanted to be clear about that. And then when people will say, this collagen powder doesn't work because I still have wrinkles, because that's not how the body metabolizes it and it goes straight to your wrinkles. Okay, your body is designed to survive, not for cosmetic reasons, right? Okay. Sheet masks are so much in trend in our country, how it works, and does it really work? Well, okay, that depends on the ingredients of the sheet mask, what the purpose of it is, and how you use it. I will actually be doing a live demonstration later on the different ways that you can use a sheet mask. There are really good sheet masks, which typically are a little bit more, and then there are cheap sheet masks. Okay, so it's like anything else. And again, I did have this question. I'm going to answer this question. I forgot to answer it actually on Instagram. Is just because it's a Korean sheet mask, it doesn't mean it's good. Okay, there are good and bad masks from Korea too. Okay, so just because it says it's from Korea, it doesn't mean it's good. Oh yeah, from Bangkok. Oh, I have a client that lives near Bangkok. See, why deep wrinkles happen? Well, it depends on if the deep wrinkles are caused by dynamic wrinkles, okay, or if they are static wrinkles. And the difference between the two are dynamic wrinkles are caused when you do an expression on your face over and over. So like this, right? Or smiling, then you get the wrinkles right here. That's a dynamic wrinkle. Static wrinkles happen where you're like, so like you're expressionless, and if you still have the wrinkles, that's a static wrinkle, meaning your face is expressionless, but you still have the creases in your skin. So that's the difference between the two. So when a dynamic wrinkle, you do it over your expression over and over and over, eventually it can become a dynamic, or excuse me, a static wrinkle. So it's basically scarring. Wrinkles are scars in the skin, and it can be caused by the sun, which breaks down the collagen and elastin. It can be due to age that breaks down the collagen and elastin. And men typically get deeper wrinkles than women. And it could be because they don't wear as much sunscreen and they're out in the sun more. What's good for droopy eyelids for skin over 50? Okay, so one of the things that you can do is I do the microcurrent, right? The microcurrent lifts up the droopy eyelids. That's what I do to help. Some people use Botox, some people use other, but that's what I personally do, because I am not, I mean, you can tell I don't use it. I've been accused of using Botox, and you can tell I don't use Botox. I got the wrinkles. AJ toner. Okay, no. Afreen, no toner, no leave on things on there that have AHA and BHA, especially if you have sensitive skin. Many people use topical vitamin A. Is it good to use like that? Okay, so that's why I'm saying it depends on the person. Because you'll see that some people will say it really irritated my skin. Oh, I have a question on here. Is there one sunscreen in particular that you recommend for dry skin? I'm currently using Tatcha. Is it just dry skin? If it's just dry skin, look at your Tatcha. I'd have to look at the list. Does it have things like glycerin in it? And if you have, is your skin dry? Like, are you over 50? If you're over 50, and your skin is particularly dry all the time, you want to look for fatty acids, essential fatty acids in the product, and it can include oil in the sunscreen. A lot of people don't like oil in the sunscreen, but if it has oils or emollients in the sunscreen, that's typically better for dry skin. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh, here's another one. Sorry. How come I can't? Can you use retinol and vitamin C at the same night routine? Yes, you can. And if it's actual vitamin C, which is L-ascorbic acid, be careful, because if you start to develop a rash, thank you for that heart. If you develop a rash, then I would use a vitamin C derivative. That would be less, excuse me, less reactive. Okay. Any good retinol serum? You'd have to send me the list, the ingredients list, or a particular product. Then I can tell you. As you can kind of tell, I'm typically not brand loyal, although there are some brands that are better because they have better products in their product line, if that makes sense. Okay. How often should the ordinary gram active retinoid be used for sensitive skin? Well, let me see. If you have sensitive skin, I probably would use a encapsulated retinol product, because then there's a slow release versus all at once. And so if you have sensitive skin, your skin will more likely react to that flush of retinol that you're using on your skin. So I would probably use an encapsulated one, and you're less likely to be sensitive to that, if that makes sense. Okay. Oh my gosh, I got a bunch here. Is TCA peel stronger than glycolic peel? For some people, the formulation, depends on the person. Again, it depends on the person and the percentage of the glycolic peel and the formulation of the glycolic peel. And so it just depends on the person how they react to it. And by the way, I don't recommend any peels during the summertime. I know that there's a lot of places that are willing to perform them on you. But I personally, when I had my practice, I refused. I would do vitamin C, I would do enzyme, but I would not do acid peels, because what they didn't understand is over time they can develop melasma, and then they're not going to know why they got that. And it's usually they did a peel and then they went outside. Even if you wear sunscreen is still limited protection. So I wouldn't do them. I felt a very strong responsibility to my clients. And did I lose some clients because I refused to do these peels? Yes, and some of them actually came back when they realized. So I personally didn't do them. I have back acne and spots because of these pimples. I'm so fed up because of this pandemic. Can you please help me? Okay, back acne, your back. If you have sensitive skin on your face, not necessarily your back. Your back skin is thicker and it's more tolerant, so you can actually be stronger on there. You need to, first of all, start wearing shirts that breathe. So like those dry fits are excellent. You would use and this is going to be very general because I can't see your back. If you've got cystic back acne, that is more serious. But if it's just like a bunch of like superficial pimples and not cystic acne, you start off with a salicylic acid or glycolic acid, or even a combination cleanser. And I would get one of those things that you can actually exfoliate your skin. So even like a scrub, I know you can't get completely, but if you can do that and then you rinse off. And that is the one place, with the exception of not being in the sun, that is the one place where you can use a leave-on exfoliant, because one, your back is covered most of the time. Two, your back is more tolerant than your face as far as products go. Hi, Phoenix Chi 64. Can you recommend a collagen powder? And I understand there's marine and beef animal collagen. What is best? Okay, so I don't know what you can get in the UK. In marine, there is a certain type of collagen that typically is higher, not always, but that actually is better for your skin. It's more easily converted for some reason. It actually shows up in the skin more. But the beef one typically has higher amounts of collagen than the marine. Marine is easily more digestible for some people. So I don't know if you can get it and if you're in the UK, I'm not sure. The best thing to do is send me links to the ingredients and I can take a look at them. I can show you the ones from the US, but I don't know if they're going to have it in the UK, Annette. Vanessa! Hi, Vanessa! Purchasing those compressed masks. I plan to use them with tea and suggestions on some good teas, and maybe you can make a great tea mask. Okay, here's one thing. Those sleep teas, the natural herb sleep teas, that have valerian root, that have chamomile, things like that. Those are really good for your skin topically, because the same thing that helps relax you, a lot of them are anti-inflammatories. So that's what you could do. When you say purchase those compressed masks, can you be a little bit more specific on that one? Let me see. I have dry combination skin. I am 30. Please suggest an anti-aging skincare routine. Okay, so she must have joined dry combination skin. I'm 30. I would have to look at your skin to give you that specific. And really, you're not supposed to give really specific skincare routines if you're licensed unless you have done an assessment on their skin. I don't know if you guys know that or not because you can be liable if something happens. Can we reverse expression wrinkles? To some degree, yes. The deeper it is, the longer it takes, but yes. So I don't know if you guys can see. Let me, hold on. Do you see right here? They're starting to go away. I have these things right here, and you could barely see it now because I use my microcurrent. I don't know if you guys can, oh, hold on. I got to scroll through here. Okay. I know, so you guys can, you guys can't see it. But I have, yes. So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You guys can do that. Okay. Let me see. So yes, you can reverse expression lines to a point. If they're super, super deep, you may be able to fill that in. Okay. But to a point. What do you think about the hype of Bokchile? Isn't that the one that's like the alternative to retinol? I've just read some clinical studies that it does the same thing as retinol, but I have found that it's not as effective. When I used a little bit of it, I didn't really see that big of a difference. So again, it depends on your skin and how your skin responds. If you're like me and you can't use Retin-A or retinol, that may be something that you can, I don't know. Let me see. Can you guys see me on this one here? So that may be something that you can try. Sure. Shaving is not good for your skin. Well, I mean, it's a form of physical exfoliation. It's what you do before and after you shave. Okay, so if you're a man and you're watching and you tend to you see that you're getting darker here and you shave, that is because you are exfoliating and then you're using products that make your skin more photosensitive, whether it's an exfoliant or an aftershave, and then you go outside. And it doesn't matter if you wear sunscreen. Sunscreen helps protect it for a while, but not completely. Look like tablets. You make one serum cocktail, place it into the mixture and it absorbs, and you can wear like store-bought masks. I've seen them, but I've never tried them. I'd have to look at the ingredients list of the mixture. Okay, so Iram, so that's what she's talking about with what the compressed masks are. The tree. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you very much for showing up and actually letting me know that you're here. So glad you're here. So that's okay. Hold on. I got to scroll through and make sure. Okay. Mira. I remember Mira. How often should oh, I already did that one. Okay. Okay. So tell about freckles, please. Okay, so freckles, I'd have to look at what they look like because some people call age spots freckles, and then there's solar lentiginous, which is actually freckles caused by the sun, and then there are freckles that are genetically that you have. You got to be more specific. You're just saying, tell about freckles. Like, what do you want to know about the freckles? So, my Instagram handle is this. And I'm looking at both of them. Okay. And that's where I'm not great. I forget about Instagram. I try to answer most of my questions on Instagram. Some of you guys go through my website and then email me. So I try to keep up with all of them, but email I check every day. I get so many, sometimes I end up missing them. And Instagram, I'm on there every couple of days. I forget because I turn off my notifications, because otherwise I would constantly be getting and I can't get any work done. So that's why. Oh, there you are, Afreen. Is that you? Okay. Can higher percentage of lactic acid stimulate collagen production as effective as lower percentage of glycolic acid? No, probably not, because lactic acid is a larger molecule, so it doesn't penetrate the stratum corneum as quickly as glycolic acid. Glycolic acid is the smallest molecule, therefore it penetrates the skin. And although they're both AHAs, lactic acid is more hydrating. Glycolic acid at a lower percentage is going to penetrate faster than a higher percentage of lactic acid, just because how it works at the skin. Okay. Okay. I have to get going. I do have a consultation. I have an appointment that I have to prepare for. So what I'm going to do, okay, wait, I'm 30, considering becoming an esthetician. I'd love to hear about how you got into skincare. Oh, was that you earlier when you were talking about it? Oh, thank you so much. I will probably do that on my other channel, because most people that are pros, the things I tell pros are different than what I tell clients. When clients are asking a question, it's because they want to know for their skin. For pros, yeah, Vanessa, thank you for joining. For pros, they are trying to find out information for their clients and how to administer products. So they come about different. If you're considering becoming an esthetician, so just so you guys know, estheticians work on the skin, the aesthetics of the skin and the health of the skin. That's what they concentrate on. Okay, so that's you're considering becoming an esthetician. What you learn in school is very basic, and then after that, there are, depending on where you are, there are some schools that offer advanced studies, and then other things is just studying, and then also the amount of clients that basically, that's how I got my experience, is my hands-on experience. Increasing sensitivity. Shell laser. No, don't do laser for that. Especially if you tend to have darker skin, because they not only will they come back. Afreen, it's the same thing. Esthetician, and it's just a different spelling. It's completely the same. It'll not only get bigger, but you'll probably get more. So I'd have to actually see a picture of that before giving you more specific information. I'd have to see the pictures, because I've had people send me pictures and saying, look at all my freckles. And I'm like, those aren't freckles. Those are age spots. And they're completely different on like, you know, when a little kid has little tiny cute little freckles, and then when she sent her pictures, those are age spots. So I have to be careful. I learned from that. Oh, everyone looks at things a little bit differently. Okay. Fatima, black tiny moles coming out of my face. I'm 30. Suggest something good. Okay. I'd have to see what those tiny moles are. Are they flat, or or are they raised? So I'd want to know that. Okay. Guys, it's 11:23. I got to get going. I have my next appointment. So thanks for joining. This is what I will do. I will reformat this with the specific questions on there and links. Okay. Your neck is darkening. Okay. So basically your neck is darkening. I'd have to see if you shave. I'd have to see the picture. Sharon, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm 48 years old with oily skin. Would you recommend a separate sunscreen, or is a cream with enough SPF be enough for your skin? Okay, I'm going to answer this one just because it is a good question. She's in the Caribbean, so it's humid. She has oily skin. And I can't see you, but Sharon, if you have dark skin, there's a lot of heat, right, in the Caribbean. So I would recommend a mineral sunscreen, even though you have dark skin. I would recommend a more sheer, like tinted, because it would work better with your skin for several reasons. Dark skin and heat can cause hyperpigmentation. She's got oily skin. So I would probably recommend a physical sunscreen, zinc oxide, that actually absorbs oil. Okay. If you already have hyperpigmentation, then I would recommend the Lyra Clinical, the one that I sell on my website, because it has natural plant-based tyrosinase inhibitors that help prevent pigmentation formation. That's one. Or two, based on what I put, I probably would recommend the tinted even skin tone one, which is this one here. Ooh, how do I do this? The physical one. I'll put the link in there for you. The light one is this one here. It's somewhat sheer, but if you have really, really dark skin, you may not like it, but it has a really nice texture. Okay. Fatima, I'd have to see pictures of that. Please do another live. Okay, I will do another live next week. Friday, I'll probably do another live and with a live demonstration. Okay, so I'll just, you guys will be in my bathroom and you'll see how I can do this live demonstration, and then we'll do live Q&A after that. Okay. Okay. So anyway, Sean Harrison, where have you been? Hi, Sean. Okay, so Sean, we have to do an update because I want to do the advanced part. So Sean Harrison, he's actually a consult of mine. So yeah, we have to do one because I want to get you into the advanced part of the protocol here. Okay. Okay, so thank you guys for Deeper Than Skin. Contact me and I'll give you the link to my group so that we can talk a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Reach out to me through Instagram. I know it is expensive, but I have to say these sunscreens are pretty good. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Kim. Okay, you guys, I have to sign off. I have another consultation to do. And yes, I actually am professional. So I have to get going because I don't do this all day. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.